So, for those of you who know me, you know that I have anxiety pretty badly. Um, I was told at some point that I have Asperger's syndrome, but I'm not going to talk on that because I've realized lately that I'm not sure if I have Asperger's syndrome because I still have the symptoms, but I'm able to get over a lot of things that people with Asperger's syndrome cannot get over. And I'm able to work through these things, and a lot of people with Asperger's syndrome just can't do it. So I'm not sure. So, what I'm going to talk about is working with anxiety because I was going to talk about working with anxiety slash Asperger's syndrome. But no, I'm going to talk about working with anxiety. So, obviously, like everybody with anxiety, I downplay my anxiety. I try not to show it. I try to hide it, but it is very severe. I worry about things that I feel like people don't have to overthink on or worry about too much because it comes natural. It's what they do. It just comes natural. They don't have to think about it. And so I wanted to go through a list of different things that somebody with anxiety might worry about that people don't realize is a worry to some people with anxiety. Um, for me, the main thing that I worry about is understanding like social cues, like body language. For instance, I was at a bar with my friend one time, and the lady told us how much our drinks were. And he just made this surprise face, and he was like, "What?" He was like, "Three, blah, 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 blah. Damn." And I'm like, "What?" I'm like, "I'll give you money afterwards." I thought, I was thinking that the drinks were expensive and that he was like appalled by how expensive the drinks were. No, he was actually surprised that the drinks were so cheap. So I can't read body language at all. This has happened to me a couple of times um, that I've noticed. I completely misread people's body language and think that they're talking about something different or feeling something different than they're actually feeling. And so I worry about that a lot. I worry about whether I'm making the right judgment on if somebody's interested in what I'm talking about, or if somebody's not interested in what I'm talking about, or if somebody's getting annoyed, or if somebody, I just don't get that stuff very often. I just can't read body language. Um, and I know that, so it's something that I overthink on a lot. Um, Second thing that I worry about that I think other people worry about but don't have to overthink. Looking weird or out of place or different, which a lot of people don't care. A lot of people don't care about looking different or out of place. They are them, and being they play themselves, and that's what they do. It comes natural. But for me, I overthink how I'm looking, how my body language is, which is another thing I worry about is my body language. I worry about that way too much. I worry about if people know how I'm feeling or if I'm giving off a weird vibe by having anxiety about my body language. Um, I like at work, I second guess myself constantly just because I feel like, I'll say, for example, if I'm not sure if I'm supposed to be doing something, I'll go and ask. I will go and ask, and it gets annoying, I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure me asking questions at work gets annoying sometimes because I always second guess myself because I'm afraid of looking out of place or weird. So, yeah, but definitely worry about that. I worry about my body language and how I'm coming off to people. Um, Another thing is I worry about seeming up, happy. Like, energized, happy to be there, or normal, pretty much normal. I tend to not show too much emotion in my face. I don't show too much emotion in my body language. I just am not an emotional person. So I always worry about that and worry about if I'm seeming too emotionless, or like I just worry about seeming normal a lot, which ties in with the social cues of body language, looking weird, different, out of place. My body language, it all ties together, but at the same time, it's different things that go on in my head at the same time. Like there's little things that differ about each thing I've talked about, and it all goes through my mind at one time, and it's very difficult to deal with. Um, Another thing is, I always think that I'm going to get fired for something that I did that was a mistake, or something that I did that they don't like me now, or stuff like that. So I'm always thinking I'm going to get fired. I'm always thinking I'm going to get fired. And it sucks because I second guess myself too much. But I also worry about getting talked about because, at work, everybody talks about everybody pretty much. I noticed that. And I just know that they talk about me as well when I'm not there, but I wonder what they talk about, and I worry about what they talk about. And most of my worries of what they talk about are what I've said. Um, just looking weird, out of place, seeming like I have anxiety. That's another thing, is I try to hide my anxiety and seem like I don't have it. But I think people notice it quite a bit, and I wonder if people think about that and talk about that while I'm gone, which I shouldn't care so much about, because who cares if they talk behind my back? They're not talking about me in front of my face, so it's not an issue. I shouldn't care if they talk behind my back. It shouldn't be a concern to me. And I know that. I know that very well, but I still worry about it. It's still one thing, like I said, that goes through my mind with all these different things at one time. And then yesterday I realized that I try to seem like as much of a normal guy as possible. And I know that's stereotyping, but being the only trans guy that works in a group of guys, you worry about seeming too feminine or too little. I'm a little guy, so I worry about not seeming strong enough. I worry about people thinking I'm not strong enough to do something, I'm not capable of doing something. And I realize that I also get dysphoria about other trans guys. So this doesn't go in with working, but it also ties in with me trying to seem like as much of a normal guy as possible, because I feel like I've been on T for how many years, and I've seen guys who've been on T for 2 years with a full beard. And I've been on for almost 5 years now, and I have this and that's it. But my dad doesn't grow a beard, so I shouldn't compare myself. I shouldn't have to compare myself. It shouldn't be something that goes through my mind. But I compare myself constantly to the guys that I work with and try to seem like normal, as normal as possible. And like, this isn't something I worry about, but the anxiety I feel just even pulling up to work is horrible. It makes my stomach turn. It gives me, sorry for the information, it gives me the shits before I start working, while I'm working, and it makes my stomach turn. And the anxiety I get before work, before going actually into the car to go to work, it doesn't allow me to even sit down. I have to stand up. I have to pace. I have to be ready for work as soon as I can be ready for work. And I just have to make sure everything is ready. And it could be hours ahead of time. I'll be fully dressed for work just because I'm so worried about work. Um, so I have a lot of anxiety tied into my workplace and my job, and a lot of it has to do with body language. A lot of it has to do with looking out of place, looking different. And I understand that body language is something maybe I could be concerned about. That's something that maybe I should think about and try to learn about and learn more about, experience more of it, and just get better at reading body language and better at showing, like, giving off my vibes and what vibes I give off. I know that that's something that I should be concerned about, but I know I shouldn't be concerned about looking out of place or looking weird or seeming like a normal guy, seeming uppity, upbeat. I shouldn't be thinking I'll get fired all the time because people don't like me. I shouldn't be thinking about getting talked about because it's none of my concern. None of that is my concern. And I realized when I got this job that I can't let anxiety take hold of my life anymore. It was stopping me from doing things that normal people do. Driving it still stops me from driving. It stopped me from getting a job for the longest. It stopped me from hanging out with people for the longest. It stopped me from going out, like, in public for the longest. It stopped me from a lot of opportunities I've had were passed up because of my anxiety. And I can't let it do that to me anymore. So I have to take risks. I have to just do it. I have to do what I have to do to be comfortable with my life, because comfortability comes at a cost. Comfortability in certain areas come at a cost in other areas. You can't always be comfortable. You won't always be in your comfort zone. And I've learned that getting out of my comfort zone for a little bit, for at least a little bit, makes me more comfortable in the end, because I feel like I've accomplished something. I got used to what I was scared of. I did it. I got over it, and it makes me feel better. So, people with anxiety, I want to say that you can't let it take hold of your life anymore. You just can't. Or else your life will never change. You will always have anxiety. Because once you get out of your comfort zone in one area, in other areas, you get more comfortable. Like, I'm a lot happier with my life, my whole life now, that I have a job and that I'm doing things that people my age do. Um, so I'm a lot happier getting out of my comfort zone and taking that risk of looking different or looking not normal. And it just, yeah, comfortability comes at a cost in some areas so that you could be comfortable in other areas. Just do it. Just do what you have to do. Don't let anxiety take hold of your life. And that's what I've been doing, not letting anxiety take hold of my life anymore. If I'm scared to do something and it's something I should do or I feel like I should experience, I just do it now. Because what if I don't? I've gone through a lot of times where, well, I still look back at things and think, what if I did that? What if I did that? And it would have ended up good for me. There's a lot of things I passed up in life because of anxiety. There's a lot of mistakes I've made in life because of anxiety, and you just can't let it take hold of your life. So yeah, that's what I wanted to talk about. I wanted to talk about the different things that go through my head at one moment that a lot of people don't think about and don't have to think about, but I'm pretty sure a lot of people also think about it a little bit. And I wanted to give some advice and talk to some people with anxiety as well, because I have it. People need to hear it. You need to get out of your comfort zone. You can't always be comfortable. So, until I find something else to ramble about, peace.